All right, the timer is off. I guess that means it's time to get started. Hope everybody's doing all right today. Um, Something kind of cool we're going to start out with. I have never actually, I've promoted brushes, paints, companies, everything on my Twitch stream before, to all of my millions and millions of followers, all like 122 of you all. But today we're going to do something a little bit different for the promoting something. There's actually an app that I found in a Discord and went and installed it and started checking it out, and it has been great. I'll put a link for it, hopefully, up in the chat. And this is called the Miniature Painter Pro app, and it's pretty awesome. And I haven't, let me see if I can get my glare off the screen here. Okay, so today what we're going to be painting is the Red Sonja bust from Clay Cyanide. This is from a pack of theirs that I went and purchased from back in March, I believe. I believe it was from the March 22. It was from the Herborian Ages collection. But to paint this today, we're going to be using the colors recommended from the Miniature Painter Pro app, and this is pretty cool. I haven't gone through and put all of my brands of paint in it. I have probably somewhere between 1,800 and 2,000 bottles of paint. So for this video purposes, there should be music playing. Is it too loud? Sometimes I stop talking and I use the music to, Tashi, what's going on? Yeah, sometimes there's a lot of dead space, so I've got the music to kind of fill it up. If it's too loud, just let me know. I'll turn it down a little bit. But basically, this is the Miniature Painter Pro. Let's start it over. Oh, nice. I'm glad you got it started, Tashi. So these are all the different brands of paints that they have in the app so far. No, you're not crazy. So for this project, I've decided to just stick with my P3 and my Monument Hobbies paints. And then I'm going to click this button up here, and I'm going to import a snippet of a Red Sonja cartoon that I grabbed, and we're going to use this app to match the colors, to pick the paints, to paint the bust with. So hold on one second. Okay, so I've picked my picture, okay, and then you just click it, and what happens is you can zoom in, and it'll automatically tell you out of the paints that you have what color to use to match it. So I like to start dark and work my way up. So we'll find a dark section of skin here, and what we're going to do, this looks about the darkest right there. So now what we're going to do, we're going to look, and this is P3 Cardiac Flesh is the closest match to that color that I have out of my P3. So we're breaking out the old wet palette today. Dennis, what's up, my man? Figures, Dennis, as soon as you get started with oils, we paint with acrylics. How's that work, huh? So here is my P3 Cardiac Flesh. And, oh man, I am unprepared. All right, my paint water's kind of dirty. Just ignore that. Well, I'll go, let's go back and look real quick. So you go under paint settings, and the way it works is, let me add another one of my brands here. Let's add Reaper to it. I'll remove it before I go back to start painting. But then I'll go to paint settings, and if I click on Reaper, it automatically has it marked that I own all their paints. Okay, so like my P3s, I had to put some of my hematite beads in them. So pretty much as I put a bead in it, mixed it up, then I would add it. But I'd say if I go on complete, I try to get complete paint lines. So I know I have all the P3 paints, so it was easy for me to just leave it checked. I'm missing like 3 bottles of the Pro Acryl brand, so I left those unchecked, but they should be here Monday. So I mean, it's really literally just okay, I don't have that one. Okay, I've got that one. I mean, it's pretty easy. So I wouldn't expect it would take long at all. I have not entered all mine though. I'd say going through all my paints, it might take me 2 hours to add all of them in. But I mean, doing them, a brand here and there, it's not going to take that long. So let me take Reaper back out because we're not using that today. Let me get my picture back. We want to go with the darkest color. Well, hold on, I clicked in a different spot. Okay, there we go. We're at Cardiac Flesh still. So let me grab a paper towel. And another thing I like to do also is I don't think I've ever painted with acrylics on stream that much. There's a couple of things I like to do. One thing that I like to do that I saw Michael Proctor do, some of you might know him as Clever Crow, he does a lot of painting for Reaper, is when I'm using my wet palette, I also wet my towel that I'm going to be using to wipe my brush on. That way I can get rid of extra paint, and it doesn't necessarily change the, I guess, consistency. Because if you get the paint the way you want it, the wet palette, and then you touch your brush to the paper towel to get rid of the extra, then you just completely wrecked what you had in your brush because you're changing the consistency of the paint. So, cool little pro tip there. So we're gonna make sure this Cardiac Flesh is mixed up real well. And the picture I'm going off of, it's got some pretty small shadow areas around some things, so I'm not too worried about the dark just completely overtaking the skin tone itself. Man, It's been so long since I've actually sat down and painted with acrylics. I think I've pretty much forgot what I'm doing. It's alright though. We'll figure it out. One of the reasons I'm using acrylics is because, number one, that app's pretty awesome. But number two, a new endeavor that I'm on will not allow me to have the time. Oh, Tashi. Goodness. Oh, it is a perishable skill. For sure. A new endeavor that I'm on, I'm going to have to kind of start it out using acrylics just because I'm not good enough with oils yet to get them to dry as fast as I would need them to. And I ran out of primer, so this is just some rattle can zenithal prime, black, gray, white. Lord Pancake, what's going on? So, and I actually don't know how well this paint will do on this primer. I usually airbrush, but I broke cardinal painting rule number 1 and ran out of primer, so it has not arrived yet. I don't know, this primer is really kind of sucking up this paint. But yeah, Tashi, to your earlier remark, painting is, yeah, you don't want to run out. Painting is a perishable skill, but on the other hand, it's kind of like riding a bike. No, I didn't buy a 2-gallon, but I did buy 2 bottles. My go-to primer is the Monument Pro Acryl Prime, especially with the oils, and just got busy printing and priming and just ran out. It's almost kind of about as bad as running out of resin. You know, you don't ever really want that to happen. This is looking kind of weird. I don't know if it's my brush or the paint or the primer. The primer does seem kind of grainy. Ooh, that's a lot. Yeah. Yeah, you got to be putting out some prints if you run out of resin like that. And I know I'll be a little bit slow on this, but it's just getting back into the swing of acrylics because I didn't do any test paints before I went at this, so, and these P3s haven't been used in a long time, so but then we'll get these base coats laid down, and then we'll go back and see what the app says to use for the next layer. And wife's not here right now. She is busy, so if I miss a message, throw it back in there again, and we'll get you answered when I see it. And I also have a full figure Red Sonja. I'm in the process of printing from Creative Geek. He does some pretty amazing stuff. I just realized part of her top didn't print. Yes, I did print this. Yeah, this is from clay cyanide. They released this bust. Oh, crap. They released this bust with their March 2022 collection, I believe. It's called Hyborian Age. Yeah, it's a clean bust. I'm not sure why that one shoulder strap didn't print, but it's all good. All right, Tashi. Hey, thanks for stopping in. We'll talk to you again in Discord soon. I wonder if it's my brush. Maybe it's my brush. Old water brush. I don't know. I didn't really set myself up for too much success on this one. Hey, you too, Tosh. Of course, I'm also used to just putting out like a small dab of oil and it lasts for 26 models. I think it's just this printer or the primer. Maybe it's this brush. I don't know what's on this. Might be something on this brush. Might have to change brushes here in a second. Unless it's the primer coming off on the brush, which could be. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna use good old number 8 craft brushes to finish base coating this. Ooh, that's horrible. That is horrible, horrible, horrible. Look what that paint did on that primer. Goodness. So that's gonna take another coat for sure, maybe 3. I've never had paint beat up on primer like that before. Yeah, that's a rough one. That's yeah, that's gonna be rough. We'll work with it. It's all right. There's so many different things that you have to worry about with acrylics. It's doing it there too. That you have to worry about with acrylics that you don't have to worry about with oh man, this is horrible. Let me see. Can we switch gears on anything? Of course not, because that'd be too easy. It's been a long time since I've used the MSP primer. All right, so here's what we'll do. Since we know we're having issues with the black primer, we will just concentrate on chest up. And this one will probably, wow, look at that, is horrible. I don't think you all can see what it did to the face. No, not really. It's really spotty on the face. All right. I don't think it's the paints. Paints usually last for quite a while. But this one's going to take a couple coats. Man. With the face. Hey, Thranduil, how you doing? Sorry I missed you the other night. That was actually a rerun that James hopped in on. I was asleep. But I do appreciate the follow. Thank you very much. Okay. I mean, as long as it looks all right on camera, that's all I'm worried about. It's not a contest piece or anything, so we can go with it. But that is, man, that's horrible all the way around. Really, I could never, ever run out of primer again. Ever, because this is bad. Because what I usually do, I have a process for priming that I follow. And I usually do rattle can for the black, and then I'll go over it with a mix of the Pro Acryl, dark neutral gray, and white to make my own really light gray. Then go over that, and you know, everything kind of goes. But man, this is on another level. It's getting there. That's lesson learned on that one, though. It's gonna take a couple coats, that's for sure. I mean, it's not even. Man, this is bad. But we're dedicated. Oh, colors, man! I tell you what, I hate choosing colors as well. As a matter of fact, if my wife was in chat, she could attest to the fact that if I'm not painting something based off of a comic book, she chooses all my colors, hands down. Every one of them. All right, we're gonna keep trying to push through on this. It's kind of covering with a couple coats, I guess. So we're gonna see. What we can do here. It's the base coat, so if it's kind of sloppy, it's okay. But look at that. That is crazy. Holy cow. That's rough. I'm glad this is a bigger model, because if that would have happened on a 28 millimeter or a 32 millimeter, that would have been real bad. I'd have already cut the stream. And it looks a lot more orange on camera than it does in person. It's kind of weird. But it is what it is. Light areas we can hit. Right in here. think it's raining outside. I'm glad you all can't see how bad this is coloring, because it's pretty bad. So, Will, have you come up with any part of a color scheme at all? Or are you just not even sure what to use for base coats? Because there are some pretty amazingly painted Tyranid armies out there. We'll probably end up coming back and cutting that and painting that black, because that's bad. I'll tell you what, I'm glad I'm doing this, because there's a couple pieces that I need to do for people, and now I know not to prime it that way. This primer doesn't even have a good finish. Bad. Real bad. Well, as long as I don't run out, the brand of primer I use is the Monument Pro Acryl. The Pro Acryl Prime. They've got 5 or 6 different colors. This is, to me, the Pro Acryl Primes are the best kind of, in my opinion, kind of like the best jack of all trade primers for me to use with acrylics or oils. Because even when I rattle can the bigger models like this one, I usually go back over them with Pro Acryl primer. Yeah, you can go to Monument Hobbies, and it's the Monument Pro Acryl Prime. And I mean, they got great paints too. You're welcome. Well, I wasn't planning on spending this much time on base coats, but I guess you got to do what you do. And then you can always use oil paints. Nothing wrong with that, just saying. Not too worried about the back, really. This isn't a display piece or anything. Although with as rough a texture as this has, kind of wondering how the subsequent layers are going to go. I don't think they're going to be pretty, to be honest. Like I have a hard enough time painting to a decent standard anyway. Why does it want to stack it against me? Excuse me. I tell you what, if this turns out to be too bad, because I'm kind of on limited time today, if this turns out to be too bad, I will print another one. I can't think of her name. She does painting platinum. That's who took over from Anne, the young lady that does the painting platinum. No, not Rhonda. Shoot, I can't think of her name. They call her Stream Painting Platinum because she's got platinum blonde hair. Unless it's changed. I don't know. I haven't necessarily. Excuse me. I haven't watched any Reaper stuff in a while. Man, now hold on. Now I gotta look. I don't think it's Rhonda. Hold on a second. Hold on, we'll find out. Because I forgot. Do they even do painting platinum anymore? Oh, it really doesn't look like. Wow, when did? No, you're good. I gotta give that paint a rest anyway, otherwise it's gonna end up tearing up. Sadie, that's the last person that I knew of to do it. This is so bad. I feel like I should almost be using apple barrels on this. I'm not sure how it got bad. Yeah. Yeah, I usually watch more when I'm gonna be back in one of their Kickstarters, but I didn't even back Bone 6. I just not really any need to with me printing everything now. I think in the past golly, probably past year and a half. I think I've only bought like 3 or 4 figures, whether in store or online, and that was pretty much just to support the smaller company type thing. All right, so we're gonna let that skin set up a little bit, figure out how to attack that texture, and we'll go ahead and pull the ad back out here, and we'll go ahead and try to base coat some hair. Let's see what the darkest color is on the hair. Probably right there. Ooh, that doesn't look right. There we go. All right, P3. So we're gonna base coat the hair in P3's Scorn Red. Excuse me, I ate too much paint. I did 4 and 5. I didn't dive into 6. And I mean, and I know they have some larger stuff, but don't get me wrong. If you have any interest at all in painting the 28 to 32 millimeter figures, I mean, you don't get a better deal than back in the Reaper Bones. I mean, it's an amazing deal. There's actually not too much hair at all. It kind of goes into the pelt, I guess. So we'll start laying this down. Yeah, it's got to be the primer. The hair's doing the same thing. It's just drinking the paint off that brush. So we'll mess around with this for a little bit, at least get some base coats down, and then for the next stream I'll get another one printed and my primer will be here, and it will be a much better experience for you all and me as far as the painting goes. Conversation's great though. I do like that red. I think that's a good red for a base. Imagine it probably will just be base coats because I don't want to use another one of my good brushes on this rough texture because it chews them up. Well, I have to use one a little bit because it's some pretty tight areas to get into. I don't know, man. There's a significant amount to be said for the larger figures because I mean it is a much larger area to work with. And I don't know. My personal opinion, I think it's easier to cover up mistakes on a larger model than a smaller model. But I'm still learning. See, I do the prime, and then we're starting with trying to paint detail. After last week, I realized to do the whole base colors first, then shadow in, and then highlights, etc. You really, you ask 6 different people about their process, you're gonna get 6 different answers. I mean, there are people out there that, you know, they would have base coated the skin and they could have got the skin completely done and then moved on to the hair. Yeah, I do agree. It is easier to just throw away a smaller model. You are right about that. And another drawback to acrylics, I just got some red on her face, and if I was using oils, I could just get a clean brush and wipe that right off. But since I'm not, and I'm using acrylics, I'm gonna have to paint back over that. So, strike 1 for acrylics. And I did it again. Alright. We'll just get as close as we can and then get another brush to get up close there. Oh, nice. All right, what brand beholder are you doing? Who's the made by? Oh, the WizKids one. Yeah, that's a good one. I think the only thing that gets me about WizKids, I think they've got some great models, but I always end up stripping their Vallejo primer off of them before I paint them. If you got a primed one. You primed it, yeah, that's the way to do it too. Not a bad idea. Wouldn't be so bad if they didn't put it on so thick, but that is some thick primer on those WizKids. You didn't prime inside the mouth, the teeth, since you wanted the lighter primer there. The rest is prime black. Yeah, I've seen. Do you usually start out with doing your base coats over a black primer? Yeah. There's some people that'll tell you, you know, you can't do that. You're just making it harder on yourself, and this and that, and this and that, and man, do whatever you want to do. You're paying it. That's why over here at the Frayed Brush, we do our best to trigger at least one person to stream with the way we do things. It's kind of like you can't please everybody all the time, so why try? I mean, my process and skill has definitely done some things for me, so don't fix it if it's not broke. Except primer. This primer is shit. Alright, let's get a different brush. Let's see here. Man, I got floaties in my water. There's all kinds of stuff coming out of the brush. I don't know what's going on here today. Try this one. See if we can get a little bit closer here. This primer might not allow it either. This primer really, I didn't notice how much detail this primer chewed up until I went to start painting this thing. And it chewed up quite a bit. There's a lot of detail missing. Excuse me, goodness. Short answer, no. So if I'm doing like if I'm doing a piece for a contest or a client or something like that, then I will use my, these are brushes I use for oil. Then I will use these for acrylics because it's all water based, so I can just rinse them out, let them dry, and then they're good to go with oils. However, oil brushes are not the same necessarily. So I've never tried taking brushes that I use for oil and using them with acrylics, just because I don't know how long it takes the mineral spirits and everything like that to get out of them without tearing stuff up. And actually, if it wasn't for the way this primer is and being textured the way it is, I'd probably be using one of my size 2 or 3s to base coat. Yeah. Because this should already be base coated, honestly. But this primer is sucking up the paint as soon as I'm putting it down. So I'm having to go over stuff 2 and 3 times that would normally just be once. Some more of that red. If I'd known it was going to be like this would have been a real quick video. I'd have just thrown some contrast colors on my zenithal prime and called it a day. I'm going to go touch up the skin again, because I guess they're looking at it as that one strap right here is covered up by the hair, And that's cool. I'll play their game. And I actually, I need to look for airbrush parts. One of the pieces to my Patriot broke, and that's what I use for my priming. That's a mess. Wife and son just got home. Son's in from Japan right now. Brought the grandbaby with him. What's up, man? Hello, wife. Tell you what, with as much as I've started painting, I'm going to talk to Pro Acryl and tell them to set me up on a subscription. Make sure this doesn't ever happen again. I think that's got it. What's that? I don't know what that was. Alright, so we got the base coat for the hair, the base coat for the skin. Now let's get the base coat for the leather straps for her top. Let's see what we got there. See if we can. Whoop, hold on. So we got Battlefield Brown for a strap. So let's give Battlefield Brown a shot. Let's find it here. I just kind of pulled my P3s out this morning, so they're not too organized yet. It's 60-something pages. It can take a second. Find a color. Bloodstone. Flesh. Oh. Blood Tracker Brown. It's close. Guncore Brown. Umber. Goodness, what did I say it was? Battlefield Brown. Oh, here we go. Battlefield Brown. Plenty for that. Go back to our smaller brush for this. I keep it on camera here. So if anybody has any social media links to anything hobby related that they'd like to share, please go ahead and throw those up in the chat so everybody can check out what you're doing. Share and share alike. Well, let's check it out. Oh, nice. A swamp tower. That's pretty cool. That is pretty neat. I like the way that looks. It does look pretty neat. Oh wow. There's some crazy stuff going on over there. The hut's pretty neat. That's pretty awesome. Was that that stuff she just did with the sewer, is that from that same guy? Oh, okay. Looked like it might have had kind of like the same sculpting concept. Pretty neat. She did a good job on it. Looks good. I don't think I've necessarily responded in the Discord yet.
We're gonna have a little bit of touch up to maybe go back in and do with their skin tone, but we need more work on it anyway. It's all gravy. Yeah, a lot of times she'll stop in the stream. I don't know if she'll make it. I didn't have a chance to make her stream where she was painting that sewer stuff. Were you getting in on the Snake Man? Oh, that sucks. Brush slip. Were you getting in on the Snake Man? Yeah. Yeah, she does. Give me just a second. I'll grab a link to it and give it to you. There's quite a difference in time zones, but I catch her stuff as much as I can. It's usually real early morning my time. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can grab that stream real quick. She paints on the stream, and there's also, I don't think it's just her, but she does all the painting on it as far as I can tell. Where's it at? Here we go. She's actually got a couple of them, I think. She does one that's, this is the one I always catch her on. Okay. There's one I always catch her on. The Neo Tokyo project. Yeah, give her a follow for sure. She does some great stuff. Were you the one in the Discord that's trying to figure out which printer you want? I know there was somebody in there asking around for printer suggestions. Ah, okay. Oh, did you get it as like, did you like pre-order it? Oh, okay. It's supposed to ship out like what? Here pretty soon, like next month, right? June? Is that when it is? I think people are supposed to start getting them. Mid-June? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've never... There's that damn black primer again. I used my Mars Pro 2 for forever. I mean, it still goes. I still use it. And then I got a deal on a Mono X that I just couldn't pass up. It's the 4K one, but still couldn't pass it up. I love it. So I would have no issue going with any cubic again. The only thing I've ever used from Frozen so far is some resin, and that was not the best experience. But that's not because of them, that's because I was trying to mix it with another brand of resin to get a different result. Oh, nice. Nice. I love lychee. I was a Chi2 box user until I started doing things with Table Flip Foundry, and went to Lychee. Accidentally bought the pro version, and I've never looked back. That's good. They're already gonna have the profiles though. That's pretty awesome. So will this be your first 3D printer? You might have said earlier and I might have missed it. Oh, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I love mine. My very first 3D printer, I busted the LCD within 24 hours of owning it, and made it go as far as I could. And it was a regular Mars Pro. And then I used it for about a year, even though it was broke with a busted FEP. It still held up pretty good. And then I got a Mars 2 Pro, and that's what I was using until I got my Mono X. And it's one of those things, same print quality but larger volume, significantly larger printing area, and it helps out a lot with me doing the normal size figures that I do. Yeah, we're gonna have some touch up to go back and do. I'm not used to having to be so clean. FEP is just a clear piece of pretty much plastic that's in the bottom of your FEP, or the bottom of your vat. Without a FEP, your vat would not hold liquid resin. I have no idea what it stands for. Yes, that is exactly right. Like a liner. Okay, I am going to pause right here for a second. Take about a quick 5 or 10. And I'll be right back and we'll finish getting some more of this stuff put on. Put that right in the middle. There we go. We'll be right back.
All right, so we're back. So I talked with my creative director for a minute, and while we were talking, I came up with an idea, and we're going to end up breaking out the oils because they will do okay over top of this rough primer. They'll smooth well everything, and it'll be okay. We'll just get as much done with acrylics as we can before we get to that point. So now I'm going to pull up. I had a picture of a wolf pelt because you got the red, the skin is going to be the metal on there. So I didn't want to go with a brown for the pelt or the mantle, whichever you want to call it. So I decided to go with a more white color. So we're going to get in here and just pick somewhere where there's some of this gray color, and this is going to be dark warm gray from Monument Pro Acryl. So let's get that out here. We'll get this dark warm gray put on, then we'll go back over the skin tone a little bit, get a little bit better coverage on that. If I can find the dark warm gray. Come out wherever you are. There we go. Dark warm gray. Hello, wife. So when it comes down to paint brands, I would say Monument Pro Acryl is probably my favorite acrylic paint brand. So we're gonna go with the dark warm gray to get the wolf pelt blocked in real quick. And yeah, I'm pretty good with the Monument Pro Acryl colors, and they're acting the same way that the P3 colors did, so that tells me it's definitely the primer that's the problem. But we're gonna dive on through. You should. I'm telling you, I love them. And I tell you what, let me see. Monument Pro Acryl has a secret weapon that is absolutely amazing, and it is this transparent white. It's pretty much highlight in a bottle. I suggest getting every Monument Pro Acryl paint, but if you just get one, get the transparent white. It is once I get a good once I get my primer in and I get a good prime and I'm not fighting it, I'll break out the Pro Acryl priming and show it to you.
So once I get these base coats figured out, how much time do we? What time is it? 3. Okay, I still got a little bit of time. Once we get all this stuff figured out. Oh yeah, yeah. I did the same thing, and I still, especially when she does like, her color theory and what colors go with what and everything like that. That stuff transfers no matter what brand you're using. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't been a member of her Patreon in a while, but I know as I was kind of on my way out, she was doing a lot of stuff with the Scale 75, if I'm not mistaken. So I personally have issues with the Scale 75. I'm not good with painting. I haven't tried their artist line yet, like their heavy body acrylics, but I just can't. I can't work the gel consistency of the Scale 75 stuff. But there are definitely people out there that can. You think she still is using the Scale 75 or still all MSP? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've got some of the artist acrylics, but they're like the Liquitex heavy body acrylics and stuff like that. Okay, that makes sense. I can see why she does that. Once we get this gray on here, and we'll get the initial color on that metal, and get the base coats cleaned up a little bit, and things will really start moving once we break out the oils. Which, this is actually the way I started out with oils. Base coating everything, and then, oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. That's the way I started out. Base coat everything, and I started out just doing my highlights with oils, and then just transitioned to doing the whole thing. there's pretty much no layering with oils. That's why oils go so much faster. Oh, thank you, wife. Yeah, oils are a lot of fun, that's for sure. That is for sure. And then, vice versa also. I mean, you can take acrylics and put them back over top of your oils once they're dry as well. So it goes both ways. As long as whichever is getting covered is dry, you're good. You can do whatever you want. Matter of fact, if I was using oils, I would be a lot further along than I am now. Much further. There was actually somebody. As a matter of fact, I think Ann just did it. Did a chart for converting the MSPs and stuff to the artist colors, I believe. Something along those lines. Yeah, yeah. I don't thin them on the wet palette because I mean they get pretty thin on the wet palette. Yeah, and that's a habit from the oils because you usually don't thin oils. Not too much anyway. You do on like your pre-glaze and your stuff like that, but for the most part, oils are straight out of the tube. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go back to the bigger brush here for a second. Put another coat at the top of her abdomen here. Kind of cover up where we were having all the issues with that primer. Just get that covered a little bit better. Oops, didn't mean to do that. No, that's fine. Go back in here where we missed this area here, where I thought that strap was going. And we'll cover a couple places on her face where the red hit. That's good enough there. There's a couple areas where I actually missed of the fur mantle. Hit those real quick. And here. And it looks like we can hit up some of those brown areas a little bit more too. Whoops. One area just does not want to cover up. There we go. Now it does. I guess if you flood it with paint, it doesn't have a choice. Now we'll clean up along the edge of her top. Places where we got the brown, we didn't want to. Make sure we got those clean edges. Brown back out. A couple of areas we see that are thin there. Bring the strap here, kind of thin. painting here. Get that covered up. All right. That's pretty good. Probably just ended up doing this undercloak black or something like that. So we're gonna go back to our other color, our other picture, and see what color to use for the metal. It's a lot easier to pick it out on the shoulder pad up here, and it looks like that's gonna be. It's not dark, quite dark enough. Oh, same color. Okay, so gray blue by Monument Pro Acryl. So here's the gray blue. Just mix that. If I was doing these in actual metals, there is only one metallic paint that I use, and that's Vallejo Metal Color. But I was going to try to do an NMM look to this, so I did not base coat it in the metal. Oh, there's my grandson. He's not happy. Okay. Oh, that was quick. Welcome back. Now, the way I paint also, if I'm doing acrylics, I do a zenithal prime, but a lot of times what I'll do that, I will just use that so I can get a good reference photo of shadows and highlights. I don't ever really paint thin enough for a zenithal prime to help me beyond that. There's some people that'll do a zenithal prime, use real thin layers, and pretty much go for it. I don't paint that thin though. But a zenithal prime is a great way to get a quick sketch of how everything should be laid out. And again, it's one of those things. Ask people what they do, and as many people as that you ask, as many different answers you'll get. Some people have to paint over it. Yeah, it's up to you. It's your hobby. If you're willing to, spend the money on the extra primers and take the extra time and everything like that, then go for it. It's not your cup of tea. Okay, no, a zenithal prime is a method. So the way zenithal prime, I've already painted it. But so the way zenithal prime works is you'll paint traditionally. Okay, different colors come into play at different times, but traditionally what you'll do, you'll take and paint the. What is that? There's something on her neck that's wet. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so you'll paint the whole thing black. Then you'll take at a 45-degree angle and go around the whole thing with gray. And then you'll go directly above with white. And that is basically if the sun is at its zenith, its highest point, that is how the model looks if there was a light directly shining down on top of it. And it fills in, it basically shows you all your highlights and shadows all over the model. That's a down and dirty explanation. But then you can get into, if you start getting into undershading, you can, use different colors. Yeah, the possibilities are endless. I'm wondering how messy I can leave this and still go over and pull it off with the oils. Oils are pretty forgiving. Touch of this water and put it in here because that blue for some reason is getting kind of unworkable. But I've got all the doors closed and nothing's going and everything, so except the printer's going. Oh, here comes the trouble primer spot. Well, it looks like that paint was thick enough to, for the most part, not be bothered by it. Well, it's beaten up a little bit, but not as much as it was. That was pretty bad earlier. It's a great sculpt. I hate that it got a crappy primer job on it. All right. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go ahead and I don't know what that is on her neck. Just water, maybe? Spread it out a little bit so it doesn't pull. And hopefully it was water and it dries. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was. It's the gremlins. Gremlins. Alright, we gotta spread out. Hopefully it's just water. We'll let that dry for a second. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna switch over to the oils. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to the back screen, and I'll be back in just a second with everything switched out for the oils. So hang out for. Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. It's just base coats, but I'm glad you like it, and we'll really start kicking it up again when we come back in just a second with the oils. So we'll be back in just a second.
I find it hard to keep to my own pace when the road ahead begins to fade. We try to keep our heads above the weight. You make it feel so simple. Every time we dance
And we're back. I took a second to grab me a refreshing beverage. And you see, yeah, we'll back that camera out a little bit. It's not looking all crazy. Whoop, wrong way. Oh, it's just really out of focus. Oh well, it'll be alright. Okay, so we're gonna want to hit up we'll work on the skin first so we can go ahead and get that knocked out. And then we'll worry about the fur and the hair and all that stuff. Actually, the hair would probably be easier, but. So for the skin, since we're using oils, we don't have to layer anything. So here's the skin tone, and we're gonna go straight for a Richardson Naples yellow. So we'll get some of this out on the palette. Not gonna take a lot. A little goes a long way. Now, if I'm doing all oils, what I usually start with is Naples orange, which is considerably lighter than what that skin tone is. So we already know it's pretty much our shadow color. We'll go in and put some others around there just to make it look cool. But we'll grab one of these brushes here. And I'm not thinning this at all. Just going straight into the oil. And I kind of have to put it straight up here. So we're going to put some there. Maybe some along here. 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 It's going to be a little on this shoulder. Go ahead and put some here. Highlight the abs a little bit. There's some right there. And then we're gonna take, we'll grab another brush here. And we might have to widen these areas out a little bit. But now all we're essentially gonna do is come in here and start tapping it and smoothing out the edges. Hopefully this works. This is a really, really, really rough prime job. This might not work. Yeah, for a lot of them they are. That's because with oils, how's that gonna look? It looks better on camera than it does in person, that's for sure. So this is actually just the brush I grabbed. It's a size 9. I was using a size 8 on the acrylics, but it's 2 different brands too, so that could have something to do with the sizes. But there's no particular reason. Those are actually just the one I grabbed. They're actually the Squidmar brushes. Wasn't real pleased with those. With acrylics, so I actually sacrificed my Squidmar brushes to oils. So you can kind of use whatever you want. There is definitely no right or wrong. These are pretty harsh. This primer, I'm telling you, it's like it's not good. That's for sure.
Ram, what's going on? What's been up to? Now, the thing about these oils, I mean, you could just sit there and push these out for forever. There's like an unlimited working time. Oh, nice. How was it? Doing good, man. Hanging in there. Oh. Chilean, do you have kids? Pretty sure you do, because that was a dad joke. Only a dad would have come up with that. Ha! Knew it. Knew it. Yeah, I haven't seen any reviews or anything about that movie yet. I haven't read anything. I think the only thing I'm worried about with these oils being on this rough primer is they're gonna look kind of weird when they dry. They'll look really chalky. There's not much I can do about it though. I was really hoping to stick with acrylics for this whole one, but like I said, I'll get another one printed and we'll give it another shot. But I mean, I guess that's not looking too bad. Let's see how the abs look. Does it? Okay. I'm glad. Because if you saw it in person, you'd be like, what the hell? How's this guy even got a channel? It's not even, the oils aren't even like blending normally like they do on the regular. Yeah, it's rough. Go ahead and do the face. Just got a little bit of collarbone here we'll pick out. See if we can just mess with it just a little bit to get it thinned out or get it spread out. Keep that highlight. I'm not sure if you can pick that out. Can you see that collarbone? Yeah, I guess you can a little bit. Alright. Now, her hair covers up a lot, but we still don't want to leave her whole face in shadow, so we'll just kind of Put a little bit on her forehead here. Yeah, I'll have to go back in and reinforce that collarbone. Doesn't stand out a lot. I think as I pushed the highlight from the chest up so far, I think it kind of blended in with that collarbone area, and it's not really picking it out too well. Wasn't necessarily prepared to use oils today, so still got my better brushes that I use for oils are still in thinner from the mineral spirits from the last time and everything, so. We'll just keep highlighting the face with this. The contrast, we'll get the contrast. That doesn't look too harsh. It looks a little smooth. Yeah, we might be able to salvage this a little bit. It's not too bad, I don't guess. It's coming along. Knock down that nose a little bit. Well, looks passable to me. What do y'all think? Get a little more of this arm. Thank you. up here to kind of even out that those lower abs. See what happens. See, here's where it gets a little bit tricky because where I'm putting them now is not that same primer texture as we were running into on the rest of the model. So we might have to go back in and reinforce some shadows. That's not too bad. Try it on this other side here, but I know not to use as much this time. It's not gonna go all the way because she's kind of leaning. And see, when the primer is correct, you pretty much just have to dab it. That starts just doing its own thing and works out great. That's not too bad. Spread the oils out for days. That doesn't look too bad. Let's a little bit here. Now we're getting back up into that rough primer a little bit. Little. A lot. I don't think it looks too bad. I'm gonna put a little bit up here, leading to her neck. Looks like kind of a little dead spot there. That looks better. Looks a little weird right here. So put just a little bit in here. That would be in the light. looks like we might need a little bit. Where is that? Maybe along here? See how that looks. It's the I think it's the Krylon, like the 2-in-1. I usually use, I'll tell you what, in just a second I'll go grab it. Show you what I usually use. How's that? Oh, that looks a lot better there. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're onto something now. Yeah, I don't think that looks too bad. It's kind of lighten this up a little bit here. It is in shadow, but you don't want it to look like she's got a sunburn. Yeah, that looks better. We got that there. It's actually pretty pleased with the way that skin's turning out. Tell you what, I'm going to take 5 real quick, and I'll be right back, and I will bring that primer back that you should avoid at all costs, even if your life depends on it. I'll be right back.
Okay, so my normal. This is not my normal priming process, and if it's really textured, it really came out bad actually. My normal priming process for my 3D prints is I'll start out with the Fusion Matte Black for the first coat. And then once that's done, then I'll go over it with the Rust-Oleum acrylic enamel. I've only been able to find this at AutoZone, but between these two, there's no layer lines left over. And that's with me. Now, granted, I print at 0.03, but it's a Mars 2 Pro and a Photon Mono X. So with the pixel size, there's always going to be voxels and stuff like that. These two usually take care of everything. It's usually a pretty smooth surface after using these two. Now, the ones that gave me issues were these two when I went to do the Zenithal. This one I don't think ever really cured all the way, and this piece was primed. Can you still use paint on primer on prints? Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've gone over my priming process that I use. I've gone over it with oils and acrylics before, but the difference this time is these two, because I ran out of my Pro Acryl Prime, so I fell back on the rattle cans, and these two is what basically gave all the texture that I'm having issues with now. So these two will probably go out to the side yard. I'll put a crossbow bolt through them to extinguish them, and then they'll go in the trash can, because these will never be bought or used again. Now, these are your money makers right here. You go first coat this, second coat this, and it'll be one of the smoothest surfaces you've ever worked with. Matter of fact, let me give me just a second. Let me see if I can find them on Discord real quick. I put some. Ooh, that was a long time ago. Let me. Let me see if I can find. I think I put it in the Atlas 3DSS. I thought Atlas had a whip. Maybe it was print sharing. Let me see here if I can find it, and I'll show you. I'll show you one of the prints with. Okay, here we go. Let me share my Discord real quick. Hopefully this works. Okay, so this is an Atlas 3DSS print that I did, and it came out. I think there might have been one spot. Okay, well, that's gonna have trouble opening, of course. Let me turn this off real quick and try it again. There we go. So this, there was one spot, I think right here in the hair. Oh goodness, that's way close. That's too close for you to even tell. Right here along this strand of clump of hair right here. There's still a little bit of layer lines, but I mean the rest of this pretty much turned out a flawless finish to be able to paint on. And that's with just those 2 cans of black that I showed you. That 2-layer process there. So I was really pleased with the way that came out. Okay, let's get back to Red Sonja. Well, we still got some time here. So I want to go in and put some quick highlights in on the hair. She's got that reddish orange hair, so let's see what we can find here. We got an orange, so we're gonna go ahead and jump straight to orange for the hair highlight. And basically what we'll do with this is, first of all, try to put it back where we got it from, because I'm horrible about that. I've got a size 2 filbert here. It's kind of rough shape. Probably didn't clean it as good as I should have before, but it'll be good enough to hit those highlights for the hair, because you're pretty much just dry brushing with oils. Get some of that off. And hopefully this doesn't go on too thick. I don't think that's gonna be too bad. Yeah, I think that'll be alright. And a little bit of oil goes a long way. So a little bit stronger up top where the full light's hitting. And get along that edge. And pretty much for the rest of it, we're just going to drag it across there so it picks up just a little bit to highlight it. Yeah, you can definitely tell the difference. A little bit up in there. I was doing a good job of picking out those strands. Yeah, I think you can tell a difference in that. Let's see here. But again, it's still that I'm gonna end up doing this model again, with a better prime job, because that makes all the difference in the world. If you never really thought priming mattered, then it does. Sure does. And if we put too much orange on there, I don't think we necessarily did, but we can be able to go back later and maybe use a pink or something for the top highlights. And then we might just be able to get away with just reinforcing that orange a little bit more. And really popping it out there. Apparently my son's cooking. It's the only time the smoke alarm ever goes off. I'm pretty sure if the house was on fire, people would have started yelling by now. Okay, yeah, that worked out real well, just reinforcing that orange. So, yeah, I think we're good with that. Brighten up a little bit here on this front edge. Yeah, I think that'll work. And then let's see here. For her lips, I'm gonna use that. I have a blush color somewhere. Somewhere. Red. It's yellow. Here we go. So I don't want to make her look like she's wearing eyeshadow and everything, so we'll use some of this blush for the lips, make them pop out a little bit. What is this? This will work. This might not be dark enough. I need to go the other way with it. Woo, yep, let's go the other way. Darker. What do we have here? Here we go. We got some Terra Rosa. Excuse me. push. You can pull that oil paint way down. And a lot of times it'll still be too strong. Well, let's see how this does. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, I think that's a lot better. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't want to look like she had painted her lips white. So, yeah, that's much better. I agree. Yeah, that'll be good right there, I think. Now, excuse me, I need to get a drink. I warn you now, I'm not very good at doing eyes and oils. I usually save those for acrylics, but we'll see what we can do. Need a color. Where is? I thought I had a bright. There we go. Nope. Hold on a second. What did I use for the? This necklace yellow. I've got a bright yellow. That's good, thinned down to use for eyes. It's just a matter of finding it. I want radiant yellow. Goodness, where is it? Okay. Oh, here it is. Alright, so we're going to thin down some brilliant yellow light for the eyes. I know it looks white. It's not. It's actually pretty yellow, but we'll thin it in there, at least get the eyes blocked out, and then let that sit for a little bit before we go in there with another color of oil, because the roll with oils is thick over thin, fat over lean, however you want to say it. So now we're going to break out a little bit of our thinner here and get some of this down here, and we'll just thin that out.
then now that I'm doing this, I want to try something new for me. I usually just go in with this same brush and attempt to paint, and I think that actually kind of messes me up a little bit because all that thinner is still in the brush. So now we got that. Let's grab a different brush here real quick without knocking everything over if we can. Alright, so this brush has no thinner on it, just the thinned paint. And this will be a little bit easier, honestly, because we didn't do a pre-glaze. But now we're going to go in here and we're going to drop this down in the eyes. Hopefully without making a big old mess. Yeah, that's going much easier without the pre-glaze. This one's going to be a little bit different because of the way the hair's hanging over her eye. A little bit better tip on that brush. Oh goodness, my super glue, or my hot glue just came undone. Sorry, I know it's out of focus. It's just hard to hold this in a way where everybody can see. I went a little over, so we'll just grab a clean brush here and wipe away where it went over and get it back online. So I wonder if there's a way I can mess with that camera and it'll get more in focus. Let's find out. This is camera 1. Maybe go closer. Will that help? That's pretty in focus right there. Of course, it popped right back out. Alright, hold on a second. Electric, yeah, there you go. I'll tell you what. Alright, we're going to do away with the plinth because it's failing miserably on me. Hold on one second. There's too much going on with this background, so let's make it solid. See if that helps. Oh, that helped quite a bit, didn't it? Okay, so that's where we're at so far. Yeah, even holding this base, the spray paint is still a little tacky, so it just never even cured all the way. So that sucks, but it is what it is. Her neck's pretty dark, so I kind of want to go in here and put some of this. Well, first of all, I want to use the right color. One brush went for the skin. Let's try this one. I don't want to put too much, but I do want to get a little bit right in here. like so. And I can't use that one. What's this one look like? This one's good. And then just like we did the others, we'll get in there and I'll spread this out. Work on smoothing those edges. Ooh, that's pretty stark. So we'll need to knock that down a little bit more. Hey, Doomed, what's going on? Okay. Did he just start cutting? Okay. Alright. We might have to cut this here in a minute. The guys that do my yard just showed up, so I have to go square business away with them. But what I do want to do, I think we need to take away some of that yellow. Ooh, harpies, nice. Where from? Try to get some of that off there. That's not too bad. Oh, nice, nice. That's not too bad. I'm gonna take some of this. Oh yeah, supportless stuff. Yeah, supportless stuff's great to print. I want to hit some of this chainmail armor, good old chainmail bikini, and I'm just gonna run some highlights down it. See how much we can pick up. Well, not very much there. So. Wow, does that even show up? I guess it does a little bit. Just go with it. I kind of feel like my brush is coming apart right here on stream because I don't remember it being that long before. I think you can see that a little bit. I think I definitely brought out some more detail. But what we'll do, we'll go ahead and hit a layer on this cape or the mantle, and we're gonna go ahead and jump straight to the neutral gray, because that'll be a big jump. From what we've got on there now that we did with the acrylics. And it's a pretty big area to cover. So let's grab a little bit bigger filbert to kind of help take care of this.
Oof, my grandson's not happy. And then we don't necessarily want to saturate it, so we'll get some of this off. We want to keep doing the dry brush type effect, which with oils does not take a lot at all. And we're just going to go hit around it, and this is really basic, but it's that the primer did a number on me. Really kind of set me back, but I think even with the bad primer, I think we still end up getting a pretty decent result. So not an entire wipe, but like I said, I'll get another one done and printed and primed correctly. And I don't think I've ever done the same thing on stream twice. So no, it doesn't. No, even all that I wiped off, it's still going. Oil lasts forever. It's not too bad. It looks pretty dusty with the way that primer was, though. That's probably my biggest issue with it right now. Right now, the oil paint actually looks like it would if you thin down a white or a light flesh tone in acrylics too much. It'll get that chalky finish. That's what this looks like right away. And it's because of the finish of the primer. And another thing about it is too, if you like dry brushing, if that's your go-to technique, honestly, I have such an easier time dry brushing oils than I do acrylics. So I'm gonna answer your question the long way. I usually use Monument Pro Acrylic Primer. I have like a 4-step priming process, and part of that is usually Monument Pro Acrylic Prime, and I ran out. So I had to use Rattle Can Primer, and I usually do, but I usually just use the black though, and then go over it with the Monument Pro Acrylic Prime with the gray and the white and everything. And I ran out, so I had to use all primer as Rattle Can, and it didn't have a good finish. It's real textured. The acrylic paint acted hydrophobic over top of it. I mean, it was bad at the beginning, but I'm pretty pleased with what we were able to pull out of it. It came a long way in 3 hours, that's for sure. We'll see if we can drop just a color of paint in the eyes. What color should we do the eyes? What color are Red Sonja's eyes? Let's see here. Almost looks like a gray color.
Looks like an umber, so green. Let's do green. Works for me. We'll just do a bright green, or I guess a mid-tone green. This is emerald green, just to get some color in there. So let's clean this brush out. We'll go with it. Now with the thick over thin with the oils, since we put in the really, really thin light color for the eyeball itself, we can't use thin paint for the color. We have to use thick, which is unthinned paint. If we thinned the green and then went to put it in, it would all just kind of mix together. So here comes my, without my glasses, on camera iris placement. So let's see how we do. Okay, that's pretty bad. That's too bright. So we're gonna switch it up a little bit. What do we got here? That's what we just used. It's metallic. Wait, do I really only have one green? Are you serious? What was that? Permanent green. Let's try this one. It's a little bit darker. That looks better. There's got to be some better way to organize my paints. Okay, so let's try that again. Wipe off. Went over. She's really not that surprised in person. Guess some way the camera works with you, and some ways it works against you. All right, hold on. Let's see. Maybe we need to get some of the. Color on our eyebrows, maybe that'll help. Definitely can't hurt it any, that's for sure. Well, I don't know. After doing this, you might look surprised and pissed off at the same time. It's like the more you add to it, the more you see you need to adjust. Because now, yeah, she's totally surprised and pissed off now. Somebody's done pissed off Red Sonja. But I don't have any other colors in the eyes either. If I'd have done my I usually do my, waterline and everything like that. We don't have any of that in there yet. So, man, that's really crazy the way that looks. Oh, well, I guess if most of it looks great online. All right, take it easy, Ram. Have a good one. Thanks for stopping in. Well, I guess with what we started with is the eyes the only thing that ended up getting jacked up. Then we're doing all right. So I think we're good. I think the skin turned out good. We didn't really hit the leather itself. The hair turned out decent. It was a good start to the cloak, or the mantle, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, considering we don't have any really like edging in there or anything like that, I think it's all right. Not too bad for being halfway done. I'd call this halfway done. We'll say it's halfway done. So not too bad. Look, even she's surprised how well it turned out from the way it started. So we're good. So I guess with that, we will figure out who we are going to go raid. Who's on? Who do we want to raid? Let's raid Mohawk. I like Mohawk Miniatures. Mohawk Miniatures is a good guy. I do appreciate everybody stopping by. Thank you for hanging out. It was fun. Started out pretty bumpy, ended up okay. Like I said, I'll get another one printed, and we'll give this one another shot on stream. I think we can do better. But it is what it is. Chilean Beef Farmer, thank you for coming for sure. I know you've been here since the first second, so that is much appreciated. Again, this is from Clay Cyanide. When I was also lastly, this is the app I was using for doing the acrylics at the beginning. It's Miniature Painter Pro. It's a great app. Let me link it one more time so you can go check it out. It's on Apple and Android. A lot of great things to check out. I can't. It's funny how surprised she looks. But anyway, not sure if there's going to be a stream in the middle of the week this week or not. Probably just better to go ahead and look forward to next Sunday at 2 p.m. again. We probably won't be doing this one. I don't know what we'll be doing. I don't know. Got a couple things printing. We'll see what comes out. I'll drop in the Miniature Painter Guild Discord. Maybe the next project. If you find me in Discords, I'm always showing what I'm printing, so it'll more than likely be something that I post up that was recently printed. Again, thank you everybody for showing up. Had a great time. And now please hang out for the raid. We're going to go raid Mohawk Miniatures. I think if I can spell it. And yeah, Doomed, we'll see you again soon. Thanks for coming by. Everybody have a good evening. Thank you.
So that's how you deploy. I went first. Did not say your name. I went first. And I do my 6-inch pre-game move, and then we do the Silent King, changing the card into what do you call it? The frame brush.